Shalom, my name is Holly. This is round 4 of trying to make this video. I made it about a month ago, like a dum-dum. Well, actually, I don't know if I would consider, is it? Nope, I jinxed it. The first time, I didn't realize that if you delete the clips from your camera roll, iMovie proceeds to delete the movie that you made because the clips are gone. So, that's what happened the first time, and then the second time was yesterday, and I was in a bad mood, so it just didn't turn out very good. Then I made one this morning, and then I had lipstick on, and the lipstick was on my teeth the whole time. So, here we are, round 4, and today I'm going to talk about OCD. I was officially diagnosed last month. However, as a child, I know that it was a big thing that I struggled with. I don't think I was ever diagnosed with it. I remember my dad at one point being like, that's OCD, you need to chill out with that and figure it out, and I thought I did. But it just manifested in different areas of my life. So yeah, the therapist that I saw who diagnosed me with it, I don't know, when I was trying to explain, it's not easy, even for someone who shares their life very openly. It's not easy when you're first meeting someone that's job is to analyze you just to be super flowy with what you say. Trying to put into words what I experience. And she kind of just cut me off and was like, that's not OCD. I was like, oh, okay, like, good to know. But then she followed up by saying, I have OCD, that's how I know. And I was like, as a mental health professional, I thought you would know because you are a mental health professional who is trained to know these things, but who am I? So, from all the research that I have done, I don't know. I'm not a mental health professional, but I do know that I deal with intrusive thoughts, which is a very big part of OCD. Even in getting that diagnosis, but having her say, well, that's not OCD, kind of made me spiral a little bit and think, oh my God, maybe I don't have it. Maybe I'm just making excuses for myself. Maybe all these thoughts are just like things that I want, or like maybe all these thoughts, I don't know. It kind of messed me up a little bit, but even though I was discouraged, I decided to make the video anyways, again. So I'd like to start off by saying that intrusive thoughts are unwanted thoughts that do not agree with a person's morals. They are fears and not desires, and they are not something that they will act on at all. It's not something they want. These thoughts aren't enjoyable. I don't enjoy having these thoughts. I don't like thinking these things all the time. I don't like constantly doubting myself and feeling guilty all of the time. It's not fun. So the first one I'm gonna start with is about my relationship with my partner, Devon. I love him with my whole entire heart. I would never do anything to hurt him. I know he would never do anything to hurt me, but I have a constant fear that our love isn't real, that I don't love him enough, that he doesn't love me, he doesn't love me enough. I just have, it's called relationship OCD. So it's a constant doubt of our relationship, and especially with him being deployed, that's really been a challenge. He has been amazing through this deployment, and I have been struggling, but it's hard to constantly doubt yourself while your partner's not there to be there to show you like this is real, our relationship is real, this is not all made up in your head. And on the kind of a different end of that is that I have like a fear that I've cheated on him, that it's already happened, that I don't know about it, that it's something that I like blocked out. So I have a fear that I have cheated on him, that I will cheat, or that he has cheated on me, or that he will cheat. It's just kind of, it's just constant doubt and it's constant worrying and these thoughts. And it's not just thoughts, it's like very intense images, which is not fun because you think, well, why am I having these images if this isn't something I want? Which is where OCD comes in and kind of is like, well, then how do you know it's not real? Then maybe you do want it. Maybe this is real. Maybe this is happened, you know? So that's not an enjoyable time. Feeling like that our love is a fraud or that our relationship isn't even real is difficult. And what makes it difficult sometimes is that I have very intense dreams. They're almost never good dreams. They're almost always bad. And even when I was a kid, I had a lot of night terrors. I wake up sobbing and crying in my sleep. Sometimes I would remember what I was dreaming about. Sometimes I wouldn't. I've woken up mid-panic attack, which is really stressful because it's like sometimes I don't even know what I was having a panic attack about, but you feel that panic. And so with OCD, sometimes it's hard to differentiate dreams and reality, especially when I wake up from such intense states of mind. And so even though I know dreams weren't real, my brain will tell me that they were. Or if I'm like, sometimes it's even hard to know if they were or weren't real. That first little bit when I wake up, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a real thing. And it's overwhelming and it's terrifying because it's like, oh, I cheated on Devon, or I killed someone, or someone killed him, or he stopped loving me. And it's like all my fears come out to play in my dreams. And then when I wake up, OCD tells me that they were all real. It takes a minute to bring myself down and to separate myself. Another big thing has been working with males and females. The last year, my last job, I only worked with females. Now I work with males and females. And anytime that I would laugh at a guy who made a joke or something that was said in my training class for where I work now, it was just like a big group of us that were with each other every day for a couple, 9 weeks, eight weeks. So anytime somebody would say a joke, not just men, but females too, like I would kind of catch myself and be like, oh my gosh, should you be laughing that hard? Are you giving them the wrong impression? Like, should you even be laughing? Like, that's not your partner. Just like these constant doubts of like, that I'm giving someone the wrong impression, or that I'm making the wrong decision, or that I'm being inappropriate. So that's been a challenge too, because when I'm not kind to people, my OCD tells me that I'm a bitch. When I am kind, my OCD tells me that I am flirting, or that I'm being too flirtatious, or that I'm being too kind and I'm giving people the wrong impression. And so it's like, there's no happy medium for me. It's either, why aren't you talking and being kind? Or you're talking, why are you doing that? You're giving them the wrong impression. You're flirting with them. You're making them think that you're available. All these thoughts that I know I'm not doing and that I don't want any part of, that are constantly there. So what OCD likes to do is likes to take the things that you fear the most, or that you don't want to happen the most, and make you think that they will happen, or that you want them to happen, and it shows you them, and they're vivid, and it makes your brain think that you do want them. It's almost like your brain's trying to manifest them for you, and you have to fight that, which is really hard. Another thing that plays into that is that because of my anxiety, I'm hyper aware of my surroundings. I'm always like looking around, afraid that I'm gonna miss something, that I'm not gonna see something, that somebody's gonna get hurt, and that I wouldn't have been able to help them. Something bad's gonna happen, and that I wasn't there to stop it. So like I'm always like looking around, which, you know, I'm just anxious, so I'm always like looking at what other people are doing. But then my OCD tells me that I'm looking at them and that I'm being inappropriate because I'm staring at them, or I'm trying to check them out. And so my anxiety is doing one thing, my OCD is doing another thing, and then my head's just a mess. But another thing that plays into that is kind of like FOMO. I'm afraid I'm gonna miss out on something and I'm not gonna be able to stop it or help. So when I was younger, I always thought that my parents were gonna die. I thought if I was with my mom when my parents got divorced, if I was with my mom, I was afraid that my dad was gonna die. If I was with my dad, I was afraid that my mom was gonna die, and it was gonna be something that I could have stopped if I had been there, that I should have stopped, and I should have been there. So even from a young age, I always had this overwhelming fear and guilt of like, I should be with somebody all the time to make sure that they're okay all the time, but I can't be with everyone all the time. And as a kid, I can't save someone. That's not my job. That's not really what I know how to do, I guess, you know, like that's not something that should be on my mind all the time, is, oh my gosh, are they okay? I need to check on them, I need to be there. So that's really hard, and like, somebody's gonna die, it's gonna be my fault, I need to be there. And that goes for friends and family, strangers, when I'm not watching to make sure that nothing's happening to them. But it can be hard because with anxiety and depression, it's hard to get out of bed sometimes. It's hard to see people. It's hard to continue to make plans and follow through with those plans. And I try very hard. But sometimes when it's not as easy and I'm feeling low, it's like seeing people, even my friends, even my family, it's like a checklist. Like I have to go through, like, okay, saw this person. Now it's been too long since I've seen this person. Now onto this one. It's just like this cycle of, oh my gosh, I have to see this person. And then if I haven't seen them in a long time, or if I haven't checked in on them in a long time, something might happen to them and it's gonna be my fault and I need to stop it. And so it's this cycle all the time of worrying about other people and worrying about something happening to them, and me feeling like I am to blame for things that haven't even happened yet. One of my grandparents goes to the hospital you know, my mind tells me it's because you weren't there. It's because you didn't visit them recently, because you haven't given them a call in a while. So it's like a constant guilt. Constant guilt. This one's a little bit different. These next ones are going to go into colors and numbers. So when I was a kid growing up, I grew up very religious. So the number 6 to me was very scary because of 666, the mark of the beast. I was always afraid of number 6. It was bad. It held this bad power. So being... I didn't get that. Jesus. Whew. So I was afraid of the number 6. Being 6th in line, being 6th to go, being the number 6 on a sports team, having to write the number 6 just felt bad and wrong and scary, and I thought that I was gonna be possessed by a demon. Weird little connections that my brain made, but the number 6 scared me. I thought it was bad, and I thought I was bad for having anything to do with it. And I was also very, not afraid, well, kind of. The color yellow was very hard for me to come to terms with. I had this medicine when I was a kid that was the color yellow, and it was the worst, and so that held power to me. It was anything that had yellow on it, or wearing clothes with the color yellow, or being given a yellow piece of paper, anything to do with it, I didn't like it. So it held this power, kind of like the number 6 did, and it just was bad. It meant bad things. I became uneasy with it. So that's just it's just a part of it. Colors and numbers, just being afraid of them and them being marked as bad or good, and trying to make things okay. Like you try to make it better in your head. I don't know, I'm probably rambling at this point. Another weird one for me was the dishwasher. At my mom's house, anytime that I lived here or didn't live here and I saw that the dishwasher was clean and ready to be emptied and I didn't do it, I felt panic. I was afraid that something bad was gonna happen to my mom. I was afraid that I was a bad daughter. That something bad just would result in me not emptying the dishwasher right then and there. If I was house sitting and they were gone for a week or two, and I came home and it was ready to be emptied and I just had to run in and out and grab something, I would feel stressed over the fact that I didn't empty the dishwasher right then and right there. And it just kind of plays into that thing of feeling like something bad's gonna happen because of something that you don't do, and you should be doing this thing and you're not doing it, and it's like, oh my gosh, should I go in and just empty it? Like, should I just ease my mind and do it? And so OCD is just a lot of guilt. I feel a lot of guilt all the time for very weird, random or trivial things. Oh, that's cute. A really big one that is hard to say for me is that I am scared to have kids. I love kids. I've always seen myself having kids. I love spending time with other people's kids. I love taking care of kids. I'm a very caregiver-y type of human. But I have a very large fear that I am going to sexualize or inappropriately touch or harm or hurt my child, or any child. I'm just afraid. And I know it's something that I would never ever do. And that's again where, you know, OCD takes these things where it's like, you would never do this, and you know you never would want to do it. And so OCD makes it a thing in your brain that you think you might do. So I'm afraid of touching them inappropriately. I'm afraid of scarring them, traumatizing them, hurting them. I'm afraid of my actions having a damaging effect on them. I'm afraid to, like, if I raise my voice or if I give them a swat, that my OCD is going to tell me that I'm an abusive person, or that I've hurt them, or that I've scarred them, that I've damaged them, that I've ruined them. That's a really big fear for me, and that's really hard. And I love kids. Like, I love humans. I don't want to hurt humans. I don't want to hurt people. I want to take care of people. And so when I'm not nice, my OCD tells me I'm a bad person. If I'm not always there to take care of people or to be there for someone or to help someone, my OCD tells me that I'm wrong for that. And so with anxiety and depression, that makes it really hard, because if I cancel plans, then my OCD tells me that I'm bad for that. My OCD tells me that I should be doing all these little things, and it's hard because I've always grew up being told, like, take every thought captive, which is something my mom always told to me, and told me, and it's so hard. I wish I could take every thought captive. I wish I could take a bad thought and replace it with a good one, and I've tried that all my life. I've tried to just think of something else, distract your mind, and with OCD I've learned that that's really not how it works. That's not how it helps, which is really hard, because just sitting there and letting your mind think these terrible, awful, violating, inappropriate things isn't fun. It's not enjoyable, and it makes you feel even more dirty and more wrong, and like something even more so is wrong with you. It's not easy. It's not fun having multiple mental illnesses. They like to battle each other, and it's really hard. And it's hard to explain to someone, because they're like, oh, then just think different things. And you're like, oh, if I'd only thought of that. Oh my God, you should be, you're just a genius. Like, you know, it's not easy. And it's hard to verbalize these things. It's hard to say it out loud. Like, oh yeah, like I have very vivid images of things that are really inappropriate, or that you wouldn't say out loud, things that I never would want to see or visualize or do. That's what I get. That's what my mind fills into my head. And so the harder that you try to suppress them, the harder they come for you. So trying to change that thought, trying to make it better in your brain, just gives you more. It gives it more fuel, it gives it more fire. So hopefully this helps someone to feel less alone in their crazy, wild thoughts. Or hopefully it just kind of opened your eyes to some of the struggles that people might face. You know, people don't want these thoughts. It's not a fun time. It's not, no one wants mental illnesses. No one enjoys, I mean, I don't know, I don't speak for everyone, but it's not fun. I don't enjoy having bad thoughts. I don't enjoy being afraid to live life. I don't enjoy being afraid of a number or a color, or that I feel like the weight of the world's on my shoulders, and I do so much. I feel like the weight of the world is on my shoulders, and it's my job to take care of it. So that's that on that. This is a video. I can sense it, because I'm not doing a fifth one. Bye.